This episode of On the Record is brought to you by Associated Equipment Distributors. I'm Executive Editor Kim Schmidt. Welcome to On the Record. Here's an update on what's currently impacting the ag equipment industry. John Deere dealership group Hutson Inc. is currently in a legal battle with its former CEO Josh Wagner. At the heart of the lawsuit is a breach of Wagner's employment agreement. Wagner voluntarily resigned his position with Hutson as of July 14, 2024. According to the lawsuit, in the lead-up to Wagner's resignation, the board began to question whether Wagner was loyally and faithfully performing the duties of his position as required by his employment agreement, so much so that the board was assessing its options to terminate Wagner's employment at the time of his resignation. The suit states Wagner resigned from his position due to certain physical ailments. On the day he received his separation payment, according to the suit, Wagner announced on social media that he had accepted a job as the president and chief executive officer of W&B Service Company in Texas. That announcement prompted the dealership to more closely examine his pre-resignation conduct. The allegations also include a number of financial matters. We'll have more details on the case in the October Ag Equipment Intelligence newsletter. As of October 7th, corn prices were $4.19, up 3 cents from our last episode. Soybeans closed at $10.22, up 9 cents, and wheat closed at $5.06, down 3 cents. Now here's Noah Newman with the latest from the Technology Corner.
Thank you very much, Kim. Today we're headed out to Yuma, Colorado, where third-generation farmer Blake Roth is loaded with precision technology in his operation. Working with his John Deere dealer, 21st Century Equipment, he's finding new ways to boost efficiency, especially this harvest season, with Machine Sync. Take a listen.
We started Machine Sync during harvest last year. I'd say the biggest benefit for that is your grain cart's always in the right spot. My dad runs the grain cart, and he's also in charge of logistics and trucks and everything, and it gives him free hands and free time, and he doesn't have to worry about the position of his cart as well. He can take care of other things while he's working.
One less thing he has to worry about. His dad can continue to run the operation a little more smoothly while getting a consistent unload every time without the combine slowing down, which also improves their efficiency.
And Blake says getting that reliable support from his dealership is crucial to his success. Just being able to text or call a service technician during those critical times in the field is humongous. In the Technology Corner, I'm Noah Newman. Back to you, Kim.
Thanks, Noah. Agriculture has been a key sector in the overall Ukrainian economy, ranking third behind service and industry. In 2021, prior to the Russian invasion, agriculture accounted for more than 10% of GDP and 14% of total employment. Agriculture has been responsible for more than 40% of Ukrainian exports. A new report from Ag Equipment Intelligence examines the equipment needs the country will have post-war. A damage assessment report published in February 2025 estimates that total damages in Ukraine's agriculture sector have climbed to roughly $11.2 billion. Farm machinery represents the largest share of total damages at 58%, which equates to nearly $6.5 billion. Damage to storage facilities amounts to another $1.9 billion. The damage assessment report, known as RDNA4, is a collaboration between the World Bank, the government of Ukraine, the European Union, and the United Nations. Total ag sector recovery and reconstruction needs are now estimated at $55.5 billion over a 10-year period, according to the RDNA4. Total irrigation sector needs are estimated at $10.9 billion. Those overall assessments include the following: farm equipment and machinery, $7.2 billion, storage facilities, $2.26 billion, advancement of climate-smart technology adoption, $15 billion, and on-farm irrigation equipment and technology, $327 million. While there are many Ukrainian farm equipment manufacturers, the Ukrainian ag economy has relied heavily on imported equipment. According to the Turkish Association of Agricultural Machinery and Equipment Manufacturers, the 10-year import average prior to the Russian invasion was roughly $1.1 billion per year. In the first 2 years of the war, that volume dropped nearly 20%. Nearly half of that contraction was recovered in 2024 and has continued inching upward this year. In the event of a peace settlement, the association anticipates a doubling of imports in the first stage of Ukraine's recovery, with additional increases thereafter. The full report will be out later this month and is available for pre-order at agequipmentintelligence.com. Inventory levels of tractors and combines are trending down, while sprayers and planter inventory levels are trending sideways, according to the latest Sandhills Global Market reports. Asking and auction values were up in September for used planters, with mixed results in other categories. For example, used combine values rose month over month, with asking prices trending down and auction values trending sideways. Looking at used combines a bit closer, inventory levels were down 2.21% month over month and down 12.74% year over year in September. While asking prices were up 2.26% month over month, they were down just over 2% year over year and are trending down. According to the report, auction values ticked up 1.53% on a monthly basis and up 5.86% year over year and are trending sideways. At 43%, the EVI spread for used combines remains unchanged from August to September. This week's DataPoint is brought to you by the Precision Farming Dealer Summit. The program is now available. To view the program and to register, visit precisionsummit.com. According to Cover Crop Strategy's 2025 benchmark study, only 54.9% of responding farmers seeded cover crops with a drill in 2024, compared to 69% and 57% the previous 2 years respectively. A broadcast spreader was again the second most common seeding tool used by 27.8% of farmers. Nearly 17% air seeded their covers, which was down from 22% and 19.3% in the previous 2 years. In 2023, we saw cover crops seeded with a vertical tillage tool nearly triple from 5.4% in 2022 to 15.5%. Last year, it dropped a few points to around 12%. Around 22% of growers aerial seeded their covers, half used a drone, and the other half flew them on via an airplane or helicopter. Drone use more than doubled in 2024, as it was only around 5% the previous 2 years. About 10% of all growers using a planter, 5% used an interseeding device, and 3% used a highboy or self-propelled sprayer. Less than 1% seeded cover crops with an on-combine seeder, while none used a pull-type sprayer. As always, we welcome your feedback. You can send comments and story suggestions to kschmidt@lestermedia.com. Until next time, I'm Kim Schmidt. Thanks for joining us.